We got a new exotic out here, y'all. Today I'm going to briefly cover both how to get it and what I think of it. Timestamps for both on screen right here if you want to jump to any particular part in the video right away. But real quick, today's video is brought to you by the Xbox Series X Diablo 4 bundle from Gamestop. Let's thank them for being awesome. I'm looking forward to this game a ton, and I know many of y'all are too. So join the endless battle between the high heavens and the burning hells with the Xbox Series X Diablo 4 bundle from Gamestop. Fight for the fate of Sanctuary with the fastest, most powerful Xbox ever. Carve through waves of demons like a Chad in immersive action-packed combat powered by a 1TB custom SSD. Join fellow adventurers, retake besieged towns, and delve into nightmarish dungeons in hyper-realistic 4K. Make the most of every minute with lightning-fast load times and an expansive open world, all powered by Xbox Velocity architecture. Remember to add Xbox Game Pass Ultimate to play new games on day one from Xbox Game Studios, Bethesda Softworks, and more. With the bundle, you'll get Diablo 4, an Xbox Series X console, a wireless controller, and an ultra-high-speed HDMI cable. Don't miss one of the most anticipated games of the year. Get the Xbox Series X Diablo 4 bundle at GameStop now using the link down in the video description and the pinned comment. Okay, how to get it. You're gonna need the three most recent exotic fish: the Whispering Moth Carp from Savathun's Throne World, the Vexing Placoderm from Nessus, and the newest exotic fish, the Aeonian Alpha Beta from the EDZ. If you haven't been catching up on your fishing, I don't blame you. Don't worry, you can get all those exotic fish today. It just might take you a while. Technically, you don't need all three exotic fish yourself. You just need one person in your fire team to have all three exotic fish, but if you want to get them all, go ahead, great. When you or someone on your fire team has all three exotic fish, dunk them into the aquarium at the helm, and your fishing tackle should now show that you have 3 broken blades. 1 broken blade for each exotic fish dunked into the helm. Again, when I did this, I only had 2, but someone in my fire team had all 3, so that's all you need. Now get a good team of 3 players together and launch a deep dive activity. You're looking for 3 statues. The first one will be found in the first underwater section at around 750 meters down. Activate it and Xivu Arath will yell at you. Statue number 2 is immediately after the first encounter. Before moving forward, head left to a now open door and activate the statue. The third and final statue is almost right after the second statue. As you enter the new underwater section, go down past the spinning fan until you're 2,000 meters down, just before the final drop off, which would lead to the next encounter. Go ahead and take a quick left and the statue should be right there. Now that 3 statues are activated after the second combat encounter, do not go forward like you normally would in a deep dive activity. If you do that, you will F up and you will have to start the deep dive all over again. Instead, when the second encounter is done, turn right and head through the newly opened door way off to the right by the wall. We're basically sidestepping the normal deep dive to find and kill a hidden boss. Believe me, he will not be hard to find, but he will be hard to kill. Here's a TLDR on how to do that if you want to know. You need to find taken minotaurs scattered throughout a dark maze. Every time you kill one, your fire team is going to get a buff called Deathly Sharp. When you all have ×3 Deathly Sharp, now go ahead and damage the boss. You can technically damage the boss without Deathly Sharp, but you will do pathetic, minimal, nothing damage, and you're on the clock, by the way. So go ahead and damage the boss until you lose the Sharp buff, then go reacquire the buff by killing 3 more Minotaurs. Good luck to you. Rinse and repeat. Again, you're on the clock, so if you fail, you will have to do the whole thing over. If you're interested in a DPS guide to the encounter, because again, it is kind of hard, please let me know down in the comment section. I may make another video on that. With the boss dead, we now have the Wicked Implement exotic today on July 4th. God bless America, as predicted in my previous video. Yay. All right, now to answer the question, is the new exotic good? Well, that's an interesting question. It's a 180 RPM stasis exotic scout rifle, which naturally goes in the kinetic slot. The intrinsic trait is creeping attrition. Rapidly landing precision hits causes the target to become slowed. Incredibly badass trait, by the way. A lot of fun pairings. On top of that, we have Tithing Harvest. Precision final blows while creeping attrition is active. Create a stasis shard that returns to you. Collecting that shard will fill the magazine. We'll talk about PVE in a minute, but I'll show you a demonstration of how the gun works in PvP and how all the fragments it can pair together with work, as it's really just easy to show in PvP. But yeah, trust me, I will be giving my thoughts on the gun in both PvE and PvP. So you don't apply the slow factor right away. You need about 3 shots before you'll begin applying the slow factor. You can get that to work in PvP by rapidly tapping one person, then applying slow to another person. It's not going to work on just one player alone because they will die in 4 hits. And either way, after getting a rapid headshot kill with the perk active, you make a big shard that returns to you. By the way, we tested it. There seems to be no real range limit on how far away that shard will track to you. Even if you're super far away, the shard not only knew where I was, but it beelined right to me almost immediately. So that was nice. And now the fun stuff. So many fragments pair together with the Wicked implement. That big shard I just mentioned that you make by just using the gun that tracks to you, yeah, that'll proc Whisper of Rhyme, meaning every time you collect that big shard, it'll give you a bit of overshield. Whisper of Refraction, another great pairing. Every time you kill a slowed or frozen target, you get class ability energy. Whisper of Hunger also works, meaning when you auto-collect that big homing shard, you get extra melee energy. Whisper of Durance will take the slow duration on an affected target from 4 to 6 seconds. I'll give Bungie credit, the gun meshes really well with the current stasis kit. Overall thoughts on the gun in PvP. While I did have more fun with the gun than I thought I would, it kinda has a fatal flaw, which is that it's a 180 RPM scout rifle. Those don't exactly have what I would call an ideal time to kill, and it's only going to really shine on big maps where you can use it from downtown effectively. Trying to use it on small maps or at mid-range is just begging for you to get slapped by some 2-digit IQ Peacekeeper Titan with their finger glued down to the trigger of an Adept Immortal. I definitely might try to bring it into Trials or Iron Banner if, again, the map is big enough. Would probably do really well in the team shot department, and I found the gun to be pretty damn sticky even when I was playing mouse and keyboard. If you're already a scout rifle lover or a troll who gets a lot of multi-kills from just being good at the game in general, you'll probably dig the gun, as slowing people by shooting them is really funny and can be effective in the right situations. Again, you probably won't get a ton of mileage out of the exotic trait unless you're already pretty damn good at PvP. Thoughts on the gun in PvE. The gun kind of has another fatal flaw for PvE in the same way it has one for PvP. In PvP, you need multiple enemies in order to proc the exotic perk because one enemy alone won't get the job done. You'll kill the guy in PvP before the exotic perk kicks in. In PvE, I found that in low-level content, kinda the same problem. If the difficulty wasn't high enough, you're just one banging enemies left and right, so the exotic perk doesn't really get a chance to proc, meaning you need to use the gun in high-level content where you're more likely to proc the exotic perk because you're shooting beefier enemies who require more than one shot to kill. That already kind of limits where you can use an exotic like this and really feel the power that the kit brings to the table. That being said, it does have a fair amount of utility. Like I mentioned, it pairs with so many fragments in the stasis kit. If we ever get a future season where the artifact is just overloaded with stasis armor mods, we are going to be eating good with this bad boy. I also happen to like that because the weapon gradually applies slow to a target, you can automatically deal with both overload and unstoppable champions without needing any help from the artifact. In fact, if you used a solar class with the ability to proc Radiant, you'd have the ability to deal with all champion types completely by yourself. Therefore, lovable PvE lunatics like Leopard might find it fun to bring into solo GM content for the utility factor alone. If you use it in PvE, be sure to equip Elemental Charge, by the way, as we found out that, yeah, grabbing that big shard can proc Elemental Charge and give you a free armor charge. The exotic's only been out for a really short time, so take my review with a grain of salt, but my initial reaction is, if you're a big lover of the stasis kit in PvE already, then yeah, you're very likely going to love the Wicked implement, especially the Ice Cold Warlock boys, as the Shadebinder has a more difficult time creating shards with their overall kit, and the gun is a real shard maker. But if you aren't a big lover of the kit already, there's a good chance you end up being a little lukewarm on the implement. After all, it's not too far off from the Ager's Scepter exotic, which also has the added benefit of being able to fit into a double special loadout. Those are my initial thoughts, but if I find any cracked game-breaking loadouts featuring the implement, you know I'll share them with you. ring the notification bell to make sure you don't miss that. Oh, and by the way, the exotic catalyst, which at the time of me writing this seems to be a mystery on how to unlock, may potentially do the following according to data mining. Collecting any stasis shard will gradually overflow the magazine. Definitely makes the weapon better, but I wouldn't say by a wild amount. Again, when we know how to unlock the catalyst, I'll either make a vid or do a pinned comment below. Thank you very much for watching. Good luck with that boss fight, and I'll see you next time.